The Rookie of the Year award is an award given to the best player in their first year as a pro. It could be a sign of things to come, or it could be the highlight of their career. Over the past 10 seasons, these Rookies of the Years have gone on to do a lot of incredible things, but did they go on to live up to the hype of being the best player in their first season? So that's what this video will be about today. What has happened to every NFL Rookie of the Year since 2015? The NFL considers the Associated Press as the official honor, so we will be using their list. This video will feature the Offensive Rookie of the Year only, as the Defensive Rookie of the Year is a video for another day. We're going to start from CJ Stroud and work our way down all the way to 2015. So ladies and gentlemen, if you guys could do me a favor and if you guys could... Oh, can't believe this. I can't believe I decided to wear green behind a gosh darn green screen. God. Better. Do me a favor, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys could like and subscribe, it would go a long way. We are on the road to 2,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for the support. I couldn't do it without you guys, and I'm excited to keep doing more NFL content. Let's go ahead and talk about the 2023 Rookie of the Year, that being CJ Stroud. This past season, Stroud had led the Texans to the playoffs and would go on to rout Cleveland in a wild card game, but would ultimately lose to Baltimore in the divisional. With great accuracy, great mobility, and a good sense of the pocket, the sky is the limit. The Texans traded for Stephon Diggs, and on paper, Houston appears to have become a powerhouse in the AFC. To CJ Stroud's credit, he has proven the doubters wrong, at the very least in the first season of his career. People were already doubting CJ Stroud because of some low test score that he had, so he was out here to prove people wrong. So far, thus far, he has proven that he should have definitely been the #1 overall pick. It's too early to tell what will happen, but given what he did in his rookie year and that the Texans are now fully behind this guy, look out. The Texans might be a force for the next decade with Stroud. But again, it's too early to make any sort of predictions for longevity, if that makes sense. In 2022, the award of Rookie of the Year would be bestowed upon Garrett Wilson. He was drafted by the Jets to be the #1 option for Zach Wilson. And despite Zach Wilson's struggles during Garrett's rookie season, Garrett would amass over 1,100 yards on 84 catches to earn Rookie of the Year. And this past season, he was meant to take a giant leap with Aaron Rodgers last year, but as we all know, Rodgers got hurt. Considering the mediocrity out of the New York Jets quarterbacks between Wilson, Mike White, and Tim Boyle, I think to this point we haven't seen Garrett Wilson's true potential. If you're like me, you drafted him very high up in your fantasy draft. So when you saw Aaron Rodgers go down, it felt like such a gut punch. We will see what happens. If Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy, look out for Garrett Wilson establishing himself as one of the elite wide receivers this upcoming season. In 2021, Jamar Chase was given the honor of Rookie of the Year. Drafted 5th overall by the Bengals, he became an instant superstar. Despite a shaky preseason, Jamar Chase would amass nearly 1,500 yards on 81 catches to go along with 13 touchdowns. A big reason why the Bengals were able to go on their magical run at this time was because of Jamar Chase. Chase, year in and year out, is proving that 2021 was no fluke by maintaining his status as a top wide receiver in the entire NFL. Currently, the outlook is that Chase is going to be one of the greats when it's all said and done. Similar to the guys before him, I want to say it's still too early to make that kind of statement. As of my recording, he is not present in voluntary OTAs, but do not worry, Chase will definitely play. He will get that big contract, and he will be, this is my prediction, he will be one of the greats, at the very least, in Cincinnati Bengals history. In 2020, there was a bunch of different places you could go here, yet you always would trace back to one guy who deserved Rookie of the Year this season, and that is Justin Herbert. Herbert was the third quarterback taken overall, but early on seemed like the steal of the draft. Thanks to Chargers doctors puncturing Tyrod Taylor's lungs, Herbert was named the starter in week 2 and remained the starter for the season, following his impeccable play. To go along with passing for over 4,300 yards, only off by 38 yards for the rookie record, by the way, he would go on to throw 31 touchdowns, the record for most touchdowns thrown by a rookie to this day. Herbert statistically has remained one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, but sadly for him is one of the only few pieces remaining from 2020 in Los Angeles, as the team now under Jim Harbaugh looks to rebuild the team in his image. Still, with the talent that Herbert possesses, you can't be too worried about the 2020 Rookie of the Year's future in the NFL. With incredible arm talent comparable to the likes of Mahomes and Allen, and the size that would give you the sense of durability, Herbert, now with a coach that knows what he's doing, may reach a tier that we haven't seen out of him just yet. We'll wait and see, but I'm not too worried about Justin Herbert's career in the NFL. In 2019, the Rookie of the Year would go to Kyler Murray. Murray was the can't-miss quarterback of the 2019 draft due to his uncanny speed and ability to extend plays. He was drafted number 1 by the Cardinals, and Murray did not disappoint, throwing for over 3,700 pass yards and 20 touchdowns in his rookie year, to go along with another 500 rushing yards and another 4 rush touchdowns. Murray would improve in 2020, even having the Cardinals at 6-3 at one point. Unfortunately, the team would only win 2 of the next 7 games in this season and would fall to 8-8. Murray hasn't been viewed as highly since. In 2022, Murray would suffer an ACL tear and appeared to have missed a step when he returned midway in the 2023 season. Questions remain if he will be the future for the Cardinals, considering the injury and the fact that his scrambling ability was a huge part of his game. Only time will tell if he can or can't get back into top form. We will wait and see if his career, or I should say his future, remains in Arizona. Coming into the draft in 2018, Saquon was hands down the best player coming into the NFL. With his elite size and speed, he was the can't-miss running back of this year's draft. And I say running back, but really it's more like offensive weapon. He could run the ball, he could catch it out of the backfield, etc., etc. The Giants picked him up with the 2nd overall pick, and he came as promised. With incredible numbers in his rookie season, he was named Rookie of the Year on multiple platforms, not just Associated Press. 2019 would be an extension of 2018, delivering more great performances and having another great year. However, beginning in 2020, a number of injuries would begin to derail his career a little bit. Over the past 2 seasons, though, he would try to get back on track. Now with the rival Eagles, Saquon will look to remain one of the best running backs in the game. The only question with Saquon here is if he can stay healthy. It's hard for running backs to stay healthy for an extended period of time. There's a reason why people say you don't pay running backs long term. Hopefully Saquon can prove these guys wrong, and he has a stellar career with the best offensive line that he has had in his entire career. In the 2017 draft, there was a plethora of great talent. Just in the running backs, to name a few, you had CMC, Joe Mixon, Dalvin Cook, Kareem Hunt, Tariq Cohen, Aaron Jones, Austin Eckler. That's just to name the running backs. One of the running backs taken was Alvin Kamara. However, Kamara wasn't off the board until the 3rd round. And with that, he was a steal for the Saints, making the Pro Bowl in each of his first 5 seasons, and it goes without saying, since he's in this video, he would ultimately win the Rookie of the Year in 2017. Not only being a force in the running game, but also one of the best pass catchers. A lot of fantasy football fans can thank Kamara for helping them to championships. This past season, Kamara would serve a suspension, and while he looked good in his return, it appeared that he had taken a small step back from the superstar that we had seen all throughout his career to this point. He'll look to get back to form this year, but he may lose playtime to their up-and-coming young running back Kendre Miller. Moving on to 2016, Prescott was another steal from the 3rd round. Just like Kamara, there were so many other great prospects ahead of him. In Dak's case, it was a draft where it was between Jared Goff or Carson Wentz. Despite the back and forth during their rookie year, to this point, it's been Dak who's been the best quarterback of this draft. Due to an injury by longtime Cowboy Tony Romo in the preseason in 2016, Prescott proved to be more than pro-ready, throwing for over 3,600 yards and 23 touchdowns to only 4 interceptions. Prescott would lead the Cowboys to a 13-3 record in 2016. Along with winning Rookie of the Year, he also finished 6th in MVP voting. Along with fellow rookie Zeke Elliott, they would create the next 1-2 punch for the Cowboys, and at least during the regular season, they would always be one of the best teams in the NFL. Keyword being regular season. Dak detractors will be quick to point out Dak's struggles in postseason, something that has kept people from taking him and the Cowboys as a whole serious. Now, with an established wide receiver 1 in CeeDee Lamb, a returning Zeke, we'll see how that goes. We will see if Dak and the Cowboys can make any type of noise and make a deep playoff run. Until then, the 2016 Rookie of the Year, I feel, will never get the respect he deserves. Before I get to the last guy, the 2015 Rookie of the Year, I want to set the mood for this one. Of all the players that I just mentioned, from CJ Stroud to Dak Prescott, they're all still in the league, they're all still contributing, and honestly, they all still have potential to be even better than they are now. The 2015 Rookie of the Year, I'd argue, was the best player, period, out of anyone named in this video thus far. Is that debatable? Sure. However, what's not debatable is how good this guy was during his time, and it sucks that he is the only guy in this video that is no longer playing in the NFL. In 2015, the Rookie of the Year would go to Todd Gurley. Gurley was the 10th player and the first running back taken in the 2015 NFL Draft. And right from the get-go, you could tell that he was on another level. Despite the question marks that surrounded Gurley, considering he was coming off a torn ACL in his final game in college, in his first 4 starts with the Rams, he would rush for 566 yards, the most in a player's first 4 starts since the merger in 1970. He would finish with over 1,100 yards and 10 touchdowns, and that's despite only starting in 12 games. After a down sophomore year, the team would hire Sean McVay, and the Rams would turn it up to 10 on offense. Gurley would have the best season of his career, rushing for over 1,300 yards and scoring 13 times on the ground. That's not all. Gurley would also grab another 64 catches in the pass game, which would amount to 788 yards and another 6 touchdowns. To add it all up, Gurley would amass 2,093 scrimmage yards and a total of 19 touchdowns. In this year, he would finish second in MVP voting. 2018 was a small, I can't emphasize that enough, small step down. And by a small step down, I mean he still scored 2 more total touchdowns and only 1,831 scrimmage yards versus 2,000. Still, the Rams finished this year 13-3 and made it to the Super Bowl. But towards the end of the regular season, something had happened to Gurley. He was out for the final 2 games of the regular season, and despite a small return to normality against the Cowboys in the divisional, Gurley only ran 4 times for 10 yards in the championship game, and he would amass a measly 35 yards in the Super Bowl, being essentially a non-factor in the 2 most important games of the season for LA. It would turn out that Todd Gurley would be dealing with arthritis in his knee, where he tore his ACL all the way back in college. Due to his knee injury, he would have a subpar season in 2019 and 2020. No team would pick him up in 2021, and in 2022, he would officially announce his retirement. I do have a video that talks about Gurley's career and his injury in a little bit more detail, and I'll put it right up here if you guys want to check it out. But overall, it was sad to see that of all the guys that I mentioned in this particular video, Gurley may have been the best, yet he's the only one on this list that's not in the NFL anymore. All of these Rookie of the Year winners went on to have impressive careers, avoiding the dreaded one and done label. All these Rookies of the Year have gone on to do major things in the NFL, and there's no reason for me to believe CJ Stroud was a one and done quarterback. The Texans are setting him up for success to be a powerhouse in the AFC, and could do something that none of the previously mentioned Rookie of the Years have done yet. And that is win a Super Bowl. The last time a former Rookie of the Year was a starter on a Super Bowl winning team was Ben Roethlisberger, who was the Rookie of the Year all the way back in 2004. He would guide the Steelers to 2 Super Bowl wins during his time. Can CJ Stroud be the next one? Or will one of the others I mentioned do it before him? I'm very biased, as you all know, Houday, so I'm going to go ahead and say that it's Jamar Chase that will be the next Rookie of the Year to be the starter of a Super Bowl winning team. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you made it this far, do me a favor if you could drop a like and subscribe. It goes a long way for my channel. This has been Triple DS, and until next time, y'all, shaboy!